This past weekend, I had the opportunity to celebrate a baptism for one of the families in the parish. And I told them in the beginning that in the early years of my priesthood, I used to say that baptism was my favorite thing about being a priest because, well, people get nervous at weddings and they get sad at funerals, but no one is not smiling at a baptism. And I said, but now that I've become, well, let's say, more seasoned as a priest, I give thanks for celebrating baptism because it is a reminder that when we are baptized, we form a bond with God that nothing that we ever do or say in life can uh, even alter, much less break. And that really is the beginning of our lives as Christian disciples, is to begin by saying, Father, I claim that bond. And every time we present ourselves for a sacrament, and in a particular way when we receive the last rites, that's where our opportunity to claim that bond comes into our lives. And so as we go forward into the new year, uh, I ask all of you to reconsider your level of awareness of the fact that the bond created between you and your Father in heaven is something that not only do you have recourse throughout your life to, but also it is the one thing about you that passes with you beyond the gates of death. Everything else about you, everything you've acquired, everything you've accomplished, even your many great human relationships, all the things that you think define you, return to the dust from which they were created. And the one thing that remains is the fact that you are bound to our Father in heaven by your baptism and arriving in heaven. Therefore, that is the one thing that you will say to God. Lord, thank you for choosing me as your own. Thank you for restoring me to the fullness and authenticity with which you created me. And that will be our prayer in eternity, is gratitude for having been restored to the fullness of who God created us to be. So take an opportunity to think about how aware are you now that that is the most true and most foundationally true thing about you, and what steps are you taking in the coming year in order to strengthen that sense of identity, which will lead to your sense of your mission while here on earth. And in this and all things, remember, God is who he says he is, you are who he says you are, and live the life that he created you to live.